everybody. Welcome back to The Truth. I'm Jada Janelle.
I'm Kennedy Monet.
I'm Miranda.
I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Bria Ward.
And today we are talking about of a meek and quiet spirit. Yeah. And so you may be wondering, what does that mean, of a meek and a quiet spirit? This topic was really birthed out of our desire to be holy women of God. Now you see here we have married women on this show. We have single women on this show. And this is just our desire to be who God called us to be. And so with that being said, I'm going to read 1 Peter chapter 3, starting at verse 3. It says, whose adorning? Let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or a putting on of apparel. But let it be the hidden man of heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of a great price. So we want to win God's heart. We want to be in the sight of God a great price. We want to be exactly who God has called us to be.
That's right. That's right. And I also wanted to, you can also label this this topic attracting the attention of God. Because when I was studying the other day, I was like, God, one of the things that washed over me was, God, I don't ever want to lose you. Ever at all. Like, I don't want to lose our relationship, our connection. And he said, he pointed me to the scripture. And he was like, this is the key to my heart. The ornament, something that you can make yourself more beautiful with. Your inner man, not the outer man. God will take care of the outer man. But he said, let you focus on the inner man. And so he said to make beautiful, add to yourself meekness and of a quiet spirit. And it is like, I was like, this is crazy because like in this world, we have been taught the direct opposite. The direct opposite. Like, no, you gotta be, if you want to be heard, you want to be acknowledged, you gotta be loud, you gotta show yourself. It gotta be in the way that you carry yourself. Your insides don't matter. Whatever comes out, whatever you dress and decorate yourself with, that's what matters.
And I would say there's such a strong importance, even in the world today, with us being meek and being gentle, just because, like you said, there's such a strong emphasis on women being independent and being bold and being feminist and being leaders and all of this stuff. And I feel that we as holy women of God, we need to make sure that we're not trying to be the head or the leader of our husbands. I'm talking to married women. Specifically, I'm married myself. We need to make it our priority to stay in our place.
And that's good too, Miranda, because a lot of times if you're not loud and you're not, out there, then a lot of times people mistake that as weakness. Like because you're meek and you have that and you're standing your ground, you know the power that you have, but you choose not to use it in that way. Like this week, I was having a conversation with somebody and they were saying, like, it seems like you can almost be taken advantage of because you're not out, like you don't put yourself out there, you don't, make it be known what you want. And it's not about me making it be known what I want. I know what I want and I know who I am. So I don't have to make it seem like I got this power. So I'm like, I don't have to do that, because I know who lives inside of me. And that's even going with Jesus. When Jesus was criticized and slandered, he didn't go out of his way to show the power that he had. He stood his ground firmly and confidently. And so that's what meekness is being confident and understanding your power.
Because he went out of his way to be meek, even though he knew he had the power to not.
And I think that's definitely important that you point out, because now that we know, we kind of got an idea of what meekness is and how it manifests confidence in the Lord, confidence in our Christ. We can see how insecure, being fierce, being dominant, a woman is, because you don't trust that God will take care of you. You don't trust that God will fight your battles. So that means you got to think about yourself all the time.
Yeah, that's so draining.
It is super draining.
Rhea, coming from somebody that was so vain, like my whole life, like everything about me was about my appearance. I've said this multiple times. And even Rhea, when you brought this topic to me and I was studying, I was like, of a meek and quiet spirit. What does that mean? Because like I felt like I never really struggled about being like bold and I'm gonna speak my mind like that. But when it came to the hidden man of heart, like not, the Bible says put on the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, as in the hidden man of heart, like what God sees what's inside of me. Dang, like God, you told me to put on the ornament. And so what an ornament means, it says it's something used to make something more attractive. And so even with women, like we wear like watches or earrings, it has no practical purpose. So an ornament is literally something just you put on to make it look better.
Right.
So I wrote down, I said, God, I want to be better. He said, this is how you be better. You put on a meek and a quiet spirit, like of the what God sees beautiful. Not what I can put on the outside, but making sure my inside and making sure that I'm being the woman that God called me to be.
Yeah, that's good. Because what's the name, like we've been saying, like, this is like who God created us to be.
Yeah.
He created us to be meek and quiet. But when we grew up in the world, because the world taught us things for so long, the world basically raised us for so long.
Yeah.
And so we learned to be like this. But when we came to God, like I had to learn, me specifically, I had to learn to love who I was created to be.
Wow.
Like God created me to be meek and quiet.
Wow.
Like that, no, Chelsea's loud. Like I'm the one, y'all gonna hear me. Like, no, God created me to be meek and quiet. And like, what's the name? Because I just put this to myself, to my marriage, like in a marriage being meek and quiet. Because when I looked at the definition of meek, it said quiet, gentle, and easily imposed on, submissive. I highlighted on the submissive part, okay? It's like, what you mean? Like I have to be humble. I have to place myself under my husband. He's the head of me, just on marriage, sorry. But he is the head of me. I have to place myself under him, be submissive and be quiet. Be at peace with that. Because we were talking about two different kinds of quiet. Remember what I was saying? Oh, I can shut down and be quiet if we going back and forth, or I can be at peace. I can be at peace because I know my husband is the head of me and he follows God. So that's another thing, like with being meek, it's easier. I just thank God. I thank God for my husband being a man of God, because it's easy for me to love my role, and I have to love, because I can complain, oh God, I gotta do this. He always, stuff like that. So I've like learned to thank God for how he created women. God, I thank you for this, because like you just said, Jada, it's making me better. It's pushing me to something greater, much more than what the world had to offer me with me being loud.
And that's really good too, because I know my sister Jada during Bible study the other day, she said something really powerful. She said that we're going to be judged on our position of being a woman. We're not going to get to heaven and be judged, or we're not going to get to stand before God and be judged on being a man. Like when we get there, God is going to say, how did you do this? And how did you do this? And how did you do this? And if we say, well, I was too busy leading and I was too busy being the head. Well, I'm sorry, but you were supposed to be a woman. You were supposed to be doing the things that I called you to do. So it's not going to cut it.
And that's good too. Even just today, I was in this situation, and I like, because being meek and practicing having a meek and a quiet spirit is not just something that it's not like come naturally, you know what I'm saying? And so like I'm practicing and making sure that I'm putting this into place in every aspect of my life. And so I was having a conversation, and I felt like it flaring up. And like when I get excited or mad, my voice tends to get louder. And so I'm practicing making sure that I respond in a gentle way, in a calm and a loving way in every conversation. And literally as I was going back and forth, and as I was getting louder, the question was, why are you getting loud? Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling? And I'm sitting, and as I'm talking, I'm trying to lower my voice, but at the same time, I was brought back to our studying, and I was like, this is a perfect example. And so I could have let that, like, I could have let pride, like, at that point, like, because I, and went back and forth, but I had to say, okay, let me reevaluate myself. And that's where growth comes in too, because there are going to be times where we want to flirt, we want as women, want to get our point across, but God, okay, humble yourself, and you can get your point across a different way. And so God is teaching me, like, in conversations, just be meek, be of a quiet spirit. You can talk and talk firmly.
And one of the main things that I want y'all to know is that we put this into practice. Like we are going to be what God calls us to be. Like we are going to humble ourselves.
Absolutely.
Another thing of being meek is being able to totally submit to the world. I have to emphasize this, because this is what God is drilling with in being meek, is that you, no matter what situation, God is in control. Example. I'm sorry, it's gonna be a fun little example, but it was one day I was talking to my brother and I was playing a song, and he was like, he wanted to switch to like this, one of the Christian rap songs, but I didn't feel like listening to that right now. And so he was like, oh, Brie, I'm taking it. I was like, okay, go ahead. He couldn't get the remote to work. And he turned back, he said, this is what you did this, didn't you? You did this, didn't you? And then He gave me the remote back. Said, you win. But I realized that God always fights my battle, so there's no need for me to fight my own.
Yes. I'm sorry, I know it's purple. But going back to this story, because that's literally what I was about to talk about, because the opposite of this meek and quiet spirit, like we talk about in Bible study, is that Jezebel spirit, right? And one thing that she likes to do, one thing that she likes to do is seek her own agenda, right? So even with that, even with you, with this situation, even with you, like, okay, go ahead, but you already know, like, I ain't tripping on it, because I already know that quiet. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be quiet, but I got you. So like that type of thing. Like, I know this situation gonna turn for what I want it to be. Like, not using that meekness or that quiet to benefit ourselves, but always to be. We should be using it to go to the plan of God, to be in line with the will of God, rather than what we trying to get our own situation across, or trying to get what we want across. Okay, get into arguing with my husband. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet, but I already know he's gonna come back later. You know, that type of stuff. Like, no, like, you know, that's not.
That's jazzy. Jazzy.
Yeah.
One more. I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to wrap this up, but let me speak on Jazzy.
Yeah.
Because Jazzy been really irritating me at this point. The opposite of meek and quiet is Jazzy.
Yeah.
And how she preys on the weak. She preys on those who are insecure. And the privilege that God has given to me is that I'm able to, having a meek and a quiet spirit, I'm able to stand up to Jazzy.
Yeah.
Okay, no spirit will intimidate me. That's what God got. Being meek and quiet, that is not a weak spirit. But that's a calm resolve. Like, I know.
Power.
I'm going to look at you dead in your face, dead in your spirit, and I'm going to let you know who my God is. With a love for you. That is crazy. I'm going to look at you and be bold against your spirit, but I'm going to have a deep and sincere love for you. Power, that's power. So invest in what God desires for us to do.
Absolutely. So no matter what we be portrayed in the world, because right now it's portrayed, be that strong black woman, be that CEO, be loud. You got to be seen. If you want this, you got to go get it, girl. Like, that type of stuff. That's not what we were created to be. God didn't create us that way. God created the role of a woman is to be meek and quiet. That's what he said. He said it's prize. Like, to be meek and quiet. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. We don't operate in that Jazzy spirit. We don't operate in that whatsoever. Learn to love the role that God created us to be. As like we said at the beginning of the show, we desire to be holy women of God. Bottom line, that's our heart's desire. God, I want you to be pleased with me. So this week, practice that. I mean, meek and quiet. It's gonna be some situations that may arise where you're gonna have to put this specific topic into play, but use it. I thank you for tuning in today. I hope this show touched you. Share it among your sisters, share it among your brothers, whoever. I love you guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified when the next show comes out.